All right, guys, I'm a little late to this story because we've been so caught up in the war in Israel and Palestine. But I had to bring it up. I had to bring it up. The world's most comical, cartoonish, hilarious, but also disturbing congressman is hit with yet another 14,312 charges. So here we go. George Santos hit with a 23 count superseding indictment. So he's already brought up on a bunch of criminal charges. These are apparently even bigger criminal charges. So here's what they say in a raw story. Representative George Santos was charged by the Department of Justice on Tuesday in a sprawling 23-count superseding indictment. According to the court filing, prosecutors say Santos led a fraudulent scheme to steal the personal identity and financial information of contributors to his campaign. U.S. Attorney Breon Peace said, Santos is charged with stealing people's identities and making charges on his own donors' credit cards without their authorization. Jesus, man. In one instance, he allegedly charged $12,000 to a donor's credit card and then moved the money directly into his own personal account. This guy is like, the degree of criminality is off the goddamn charts. Your run-of-the-mill, like, convenience store robber has nothing on this man. Santos allegedly led multiple additional fraudulent criminal schemes, lying to the American public in the process. The FBI is committed to upholding the laws of our electoral process. Anyone who attempts to violate the law as part of a political campaign will face punishment in the criminal justice system, stated the FBI. The defendant, a congressman, allegedly stole the identities of family members and used the credit card information of political contributors to fraudulently inflate his campaign coffers. We thank our partners in the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI as we work together to root out public corruption on Long Island. So they continue here and say, in another case, Santos is accused of submitting materially false reports to the FEC on behalf of the campaign. The release also links Santos's treasurer, Nancy Marks, to this act. She recently made a plea deal with the DOJ. Oh, she's going to flip on his ass so quick. The scheme was to artificially inflate the campaign's fundraising numbers and mislead the FEC, a National Republican Party committee, and the public, the allegations continue. Specifically, the filing says that Santos and his campaign were trying to qualify for a program that the National GOP had where they'd give financial and logistical support to Santos's campaign if he met the terms. Santos had to demonstrate, among other things, that his congressional campaign had raised at least $250,000 from third-party contributors in a single quarter. So, it created the appearance he was meeting the benchmark, but he wasn't. At least 10 family members of Santos and Marks made contributions to the campaign, but those family members never actually made the donation. So he's robbing also from his family. Thousands of dollars from his own family. Such a scumbag. Santos and Marks agreed to falsely report to the FEC that Santos had loaned the campaign significant sums of money. In fact, Santos never made the loan as he never had the money to do it, according to the authorities. The loan has been part of the questions about Santos because the previous year he claimed that he was near bankruptcy and unable to pay his rent. So anyway, this goes on. A giant fraudulent criminal scheme, 23-count superseding indictment. And this, of course, is on top of the previous charges. So in the previous charges, this is reporting from the New York Times, the bulk of the charges relate to what prosecutors said was a 2022 scheme in which Santos solicited at least $50,000 in donations from political donors for a fake super PAC and then pocketed the money for personal expenses, including luxury goods and designer clothing. So in like 14 different ways, he's shaking people down, stealing the money, and putting it in his own bank account. As part of that arrangement, prosecutors accused Mr. Santos of committing 5 counts of wire fraud when the candidate and an unnamed political consultant he directed told potential donors in emails and text messages that their contributions would exclusively support the Republican campaign and pay for TV ads. Jesus. Prosecutors did not identify the limited liability company, but said that it was not legally a super PAC. 2 donors ultimately transferred $25,000 to the company, and Mr. Santos then transferred the funds to his personal bank account to help pay off debts and purchase goods for himself. Mr. Santos was also charged with 3 counts of money laundering. Prosecutors charged the congressman with 2 more counts of wire fraud and 1 count of stealing public money. 2 counts of making false statements. Anyway, so there's a lot of charges, man. This guy's getting into Trump territory with how many charges he has against him. But he's lucky in the sense that one of those charges is not literally trying to overturn the election results and steal the election. But also, you can't help but dive into, anytime we talk about George Santos, we have to get into the fact that this man apparently is constitutionally incapable of telling the truth about anything, ever. So here are just some of his lies. He said he attended an elite prep school. He didn't. He said he graduated from college. He didn't. He said he was a star college volleyball player. He didn't play volleyball at all. He worked at Goldman Sachs and Citigroup. Well, Goldman Sachs and Citigroup were like, there is literally zero record of this guy ever working for us. It is not true at all. He trashed Goldman Sachs at a financial conference. In a June 2022 podcast, Santos bragged that he had berated his employer, Goldman Sachs, on stage at Anthony Scaramucci's SALT conference. Goldman Sachs and Santos both agree now that he never worked there. And Scaramucci told CNN he has no record showing Santos was on the renewable energy panel he claimed to be on, or even attended the conference. Oh my God. He says he helped develop carbon capture technology. He didn't. He founded an animal rescue charity. He didn't. He says he didn't swindle a disabled vet out of money to save a dying dog. That he did do. He robbed a disabled veteran and said he's going to use the money to save his dying dog, and he just stole the money. The scumbaggery is on a whole nother level. Then there's lies about his property. He says he's half black. He's not. He said he's Jewish. He's not. He said his grandparents are Holocaust survivors. They're not. He said he lost employees in the Pulse nightclub shooting. That's not true. He said his mother was a financial executive. Wrong. He said his mother died in the 9/11 attacks. Not true. And then, of course, the best one of all time. He goes, I am not a criminal. Well, that one is absolutely untrue. And then another hilarious one is, remember when there were the pictures that came out and even the video of him being a drag queen, and there were articles written about it, and he came out and said he wasn't a drag queen. And then you saw the pictures. It is literally, without a doubt, in no uncertain terms, him in drag. And he's like, yeah, okay, I did it once. He goes, I never was a drag queen. Okay, I did it once. By the way, he did it way more than once. Anyway, and then he lied about votes he took, even though there's a literal record of that. So the guy, look, he is a pathological liar and a pathological criminal. And he's like, when you talk about like embarrassing for our image, the United States image around the world, I don't think anybody's more embarrassing than George Santos. I really don't. Even Trump. I mean, Trump is like right underneath Santos, but this guy is even more absurd and even more embarrassing. Because like, he's not subtle. He's not clever. He's a dumbass who's a pathological criminal and liar. And he was able to make it to Congress, and his ass is still in Congress. The Republicans did not throw him under the bus when all the original charges came out and all the original lies came out. I think right now, a Republican is finally proposing something to like expel him. Is it going to work? I have no idea. But like, it should have been unanimous and on day one. The second we learned that everything in his personal bio was a lie, it should have been going gonzo. But no. We have a joke of a system. He's a joke of a person and a politician. And let's just say it doesn't reflect good on us. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.